I've got a country fried take. I've gone down a little bit of a.
Go ahead and take a drink.
I'll just read it to you. I'm ready to. You know, I got to wet my whistle there, John.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can't just start spouting this stuff out on a dry tongue. So I've recently gotten sucked down the rabbit hole of podcasts and documentaries on near-death experiences. Have you guys watched any of these things?
Wow.
Yeah, they're nuts, man. So now from the moment we're born, there are two things that are definite. Epstein didn't kill himself. I'm sorry, I cannot let that go. And death. Now, in our society, death is treated as a scary thing that we try to avoid thinking about for ourselves, and we're crushed when it happens to someone else. So I dug into and researched what people say happened to them when they died and came back. Now, according to studies, 1 in 25 people have had a near-death experience. That blew me away. I had no idea it was that much. And I was shocked at what they found. So the overwhelming evidence is that we have a spirit, consciousness, soul, whatever you want to call it, in all of us. And this is not necessarily a religious thing because the studies cover people from all over the world. So I guess all that stuff I heard as a kid, like only people at First Baptist Church on South Main go to heaven. So unless you want to burn in the fiery pits of hell, bring a covered dish and come drink a big bowl of ginger ale with sherbet floating in it. Our sermon will be on the demon seed Kevin Bacon and how his movie Footloose caused teenage pregnancy.
Oh, wow.
It's made me reevaluate all those things. So there's a center at the University of Virginia that has cataloged tens of thousands of these near-death experiences. Their consensus is that at death, the spirit leaves the body, literally. People used to think they were hallucinations that moment, but they now have had too many examples of people's brain having zero function and being literally dead at the time. So many in the study were able to tell the doctors exactly what instruments they used on them during their operations and even conversations that were going on while they were literally digging around in their head. One lady heard her brother-in-law say while standing in the lobby, "If the old bag kicks it today, I'm never going to make my tea time."
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah, and when she confronted him and told him, he freaked because there's no way she'd know that. She was laid out on a gurney.
Wow.
Another lady said she left her body and went straight up through 5 floors of the hospital. And when she came back to life, she told the doctors and nurses that there's one red high-heel shoe on the roof of the hospital. After a couple hours, the nurses couldn't take it anymore, and they ran upstairs to check, and it was exactly where she said it would be.
Weird.
And my wife and I watched this story together, and I looked at the shocked look on my wife's face, and she's like, "Oh, my God, that poor woman." And I was like, "I know, that's nuts to go through that, right?" She goes, "Do you know what it's like to lose one high-heel shoe? If they're more than a few years old, she's going to have to go to an outlet store." And this just proves that people see stories from various angles, and everyone looks at death differently. I guess, as a teenager, when somebody in my family died, I remember thinking, "Oh, great. Now Aunt Frida's going to see what I do in the shower." No, you ever think about that?
No, never.
Yeah, I think about what you do in the shower, sure.
Attaboy, Josh. Stay strong. And many people, especially in the South, are really worried about their funeral, and they have good reason to. I'm not sure if you've ever been to a Southern funeral, but the crowd whispers comments all through it. The preacher's like, "Sally loved everyone and she never met a stranger." And you hear an old woman say under her breath, "Yeah, because she'd sleep with him after knowing him for 15 minutes. Bobby was an honest man and he lived by the 10 commandments." And you hear some guy mutter, "Some bitch stole my lawnmower and smacked my wife on the ass. Pretty sure those are in the shout knots." And we've all heard the phrase, "My life flashed before my eyes." Well, in the Raymond Moody study, as well as the University of Virginia's, this actually happens during many near-death experiences. Your whole life. Yikes. I, for one, hope we get a remote control to fast forward through a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
As you know, I used to drink my weight in Jack Daniels, so I'll be seeing a lot of this stuff for the first time. Either way, maybe those thoughts of kindness and helping others come from deep inside us. Maybe that spark and light in all of us comes from the inside and not the computer we're lugging around inside our head. But if our spirit does live on, maybe the fear goes away and being kind would come easier. And to my Aunt Frida, wherever you are, I cannot apologize enough. I am so sorry for what you had to see. I'm Reno Collier, and that's my Country Fried Take.